Welcome to the Nate and Dorin podcast. We are professional videographers based in Vancouver, Canada, and we are here to talk about relevant topics within the video and media industry. I'm Nate, and I run Nate Dixon Media.
And I'm Dorin, the videographer, solo entrepreneur offering video production services. And today we have the honor of talking to G, a live music videographer here in Vancouver, BC. G, thank you very much for making time to be on the podcast.
Hello, and thank you. I listen to your podcast every time it drops in my podcast feed, and I can't believe I'm now part of it. It's it's really cool to be chatting with you guys.
This is going to be your favorite episode, I bet.
Yeah, kind of biased, but yeah.
Hey, we're glad to have you here. Can you please introduce yourself and let us know how you started being a freelance videographer and how you eventually met Nate?
Cool. So I'm a live music videographer based here in BC. I've been in Vancouver now for about a year, and prior to that, I'll give you a really short, condensed version of my life. For the last 10 or so years, I've been working in broadcast media, for record labels. I even did a stint in aviation, and then had this itch for videography, and I've always had this passion for live music that just wouldn't go away. So after dabbling in it for a number of years, I decided to go all in. I basically packed up my entire life, and here I am in Vancouver, and I think there's something to be said for just going all in on something. So that's exactly what I've done. There's no plan B if this doesn't work out. So I'm putting absolutely everything into what I do. I love it, and I couldn't imagine doing anything else. And how I met Nate, it was actually in one of Shia K's hangouts. He hosts these monthly hangouts with online networking chats, and there's a bunch of great videographers and filmmakers around Vancouver and beyond that jump in every month, and that's where I met Nate.
Okay, so you guys just added each other on social media, checked out each other's work, and like, hey, yeah, let's work together.
Yeah, that's pretty much how it went. And we've done a few jobs now since we've met, and it's always fun. It's always fun.
Yeah. It's been great. And it's been cool seeing like your passion for video. I think that's one of the things that kind of caught my eye in that networking thing, the way you were talking about video and like how busy you were. Like, you're a full-time student in Vancouver Film School, and then on the weekends you're doing all these late night club events and live music stuff and festivals. I'm like, wow, you've got like some serious drive.
Yeah, it's some people would probably call us crazy, but I honestly, I don't know. This weekend, for example, I'm working all day tomorrow. I have a part-time job doing promotions, and then tomorrow night I'm out in a club until 2 a.m. Then I have to get up at 7 on Sunday, and then I'm doing video stuff on Sunday afternoon in Maple Ridge when I get back. So, and then I've got to edit that for Monday. So that's my weekend, and it's like that most weekends. I can't say no. I think that's my problem.
Awesome. Lots of portfolio pieces, lots of experience, and lots of networking. Sounds good. Sounds like it's going good for you.
I think that's my thing. I can't say no. I say yes to everything, and eventually it pays off. I've met some amazing people, and I've literally put my hand up for everything and anything going. Anytime I'm behind a camera, I'm happy, and sometimes at the start, I sort of had to do a few jobs for free just to get my foot in the door, just to sort of meet people, and then that's led to paid work, and it's led to some amazing opportunities. And now that festivals are happening again and nightlife's all go again, it's basically like the floodgates have opened and everything's on. And sometimes a lot of those smaller venues that I helped out during the pandemic, when they weren't getting the crowds that they would have normally got. Now they're in a position because I've stuck with them and I helped them out with video content. Now they're at full capacity and they're able to pay me and they're able to. I mean, that's been really great helping people, and they've helped me, and it's it's led me on. It's led me to meet some amazing people, and
So you would say from your 1 year in Vancouver that it kind of met your expectations for opportunities.
Absolutely. There's something
Awesome.
about the city. There's just, I mean, you can't walk from one side of town to another without passing at least 2 film sets. And like now that events are going again, and I'm sure wedding videographers and other people in the industry would feel the same now that the COVID restrictions have lifted, everything's all go. And it seems to be plenty going on at the moment.
Yeah, I was inconvenienced by a film set today, actually. I was supposed to go to a theater to set up for dance recordings, dance competitions, and there's no parking. It was full. And the only parking that was available had like a guy in a vest there. I'm like, can I park here? It's public parking. No, this is for the film crew. I'm like, oh, what film crew? I'm film crew for the dance comp. He's like, no, TV set. And they took the entire parking lot.
No.
Yeah, but that's good. That's good for business.
Yeah.
And you know what? I every time we have a guest, I always am curious to ask, what are you filming yourself with? What camera are you using? What microphone are you using? And I love what's going on in the background there with you guys. You have like bigger foam blocks than I do. It's casting like a lot of cool shadows. It looks like it's like exploding out.
I'm filming on my Sony A7C. So recently, a few months ago, I joined the Sony family, and it's been amazing. What can I say? Just the low light performance, the autofocus is just so great for club stuff and so great for what I do. What else, mate? A Tamron 28 to 75, 77. That's
Same.
the lens. Yeah, that's the lens I'm using. It's so much cheaper than Sony Glass. So
it is.
only good things to say about Tamron lenses. What have I got? I've got a Rode NTG on-camera mic.
Oh wow! Which one? NTG 2?
NTG, it doubles up as a boom mic as well, which is quite cool. And it's just plug it into the camera, no need for batteries. That's very cool. And I've got a Holyland wireless transponder receiver and a cam link doing the live stream thing. And what have I got? I've got a Cine Bloom moment filter on the end of my heads. I think that's everything.
Those speakers, those monitors behind you look pretty serious.
Oh, the KRs. I actually do a radio show, a drum and bass radio show, once a bi-weekly show, and this is where the magic happens. So
whoa.
It's a converted closet. So.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I'm just hoping that these things on the wall don't leave a mark when I eventually move out and take them down. Rental property issues, yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Gee, a question that I like to ask all of our guests is, what's the newest piece of gear that you've acquired for your business?
I have it right here, actually. So I'm all about sort of buying filters and things because they're a cheap way to sort of get a different look on a lens. So a brand I really love is Polar Pro. I've got a couple of their filters, and this is a Polar Pro, what do we got? Blue Morphic. So it's kind of like an anamorphic, puts blue streaks on your footage, kind of like what you see in music videos. So that's for $100. That's my latest purchase.
Right, because like live music festivals and
Yeah,
places like that have a lot of moving lights, eh?
yeah, just a cheap way to sort of yeah, just get a different look and try different things and sort of
That's
make your
awesome.
video stand out in a different way. So yeah.
That's really cool. Dorin,
Is are we gonna see a glimpse of that? Like I know we have a clip lined up. Are we gonna see a few demo shots of that in the clip?
Oh, not in the one that
Ah,
we're going through tonight, but I'll be sure to tag you in one that I have used it in.
sweet.
Yeah.
What's up, Nate?
I was gonna say, what's the next question that you usually like to ask?
Um, I mean, well, I'd be curious to ask: is live music video your solo thing or your main thing? Like, or is it the thing that you love to do most, or is it the thing that brings in the most bucks? You know what I mean? Like, what ideal scenario of videography would you like to see yourself in?
Oh, that's a really good question. It's definitely live music videography is my passion through and through. It's definitely not the most lucrative field of videography. I know friends that do weddings and corporate and commercial and real estate that earn far more than me, but I would say I'm definitely having more fun. So,
Mm,
um, yeah, and I mean, I do everything where there's music, and from club stuff to I've got about 3 or 4 festivals lined up this summer, and there's something about music, and there's something about being in that pit area, which is that the media area between the stage and the crowd. And I was at a festival last year in New Zealand before I moved here, and I think we were the only country in the world that was all go and hosting music festivals, and there was about 30 or 40,000 people. Netsco was on stage, the pyrotechnics were going off. I was down there with my camera, and I'm like, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. So yeah, I love
mhm.
it. It comes with a lot of challenges as well, which I'm sure wedding videographers would probably liken it to. You've got one shot a lot of the time to get those key moments. That band on stage is only going to do that epic jump shot once, and
Right.
you're dealing with a lot of that challenging lighting,
Mm.
Mm,
and yeah, challenging conditions. And Doran, you probably know similar things, doing a lot of the live streaming stuff.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
that's a can of worms.
it's challenging. Yeah,
Actually, now that you mentioned the low lighting, yeah, because it's a
yeah,
combination of low lighting and really bright lighting, so it's
yeah,
actually harder than a wedding in most cases.
yeah.
And
It's
sorry,
it's
can you clarify? So do you do like do you do highlights, like a highlight reel, or do you do like live streaming or full event live filming?
uh so I do a bit of everything. I've recently I've got into live streaming or helping out friends with smaller live streams, and hence the live stream wireless transponder receivers and cam links, and I've made a few purchases in that area. But yeah, everything from highlight videos to working as part of a media team. So I'm going up to a couple of music festivals
Hmm.
in BC this summer, and yeah, working as part of a media team. So where there's about 12 people, and it's yeah, everyone on the team sort of tasked with capturing different content, from
Hmm.
artist interviews to stage highlights to festival goers having a good time to capturing the location. At a lot of events, they might have photographers and videographers that are tasked with capturing brand and sponsorship activations and portraits and all sorts of stuff. So uh, and there's different ways to get into events as well. You might be working directly for the festival organisers or promoters, or you might come in with a press pass where that was kind of how I got into a lot of festivals initially. I used to volunteer at a radio station back in town, and they would host their own stage at some of the big music festivals, and that was my access all area ticket to get in. And I would do artist interviews backstage, and then I would roam around. Basically, had a ticket to go wherever I liked, which was great. So that was how I sort of got in at the start. I know a lot of people capture photos for local magazines or online music blogs and stuff like that. So if you apply to these festivals, they usually want to know there's a reason for you being there. You're capturing content for a publication or something. So that's usually a good way in at the start when you are starting out, until you can land those gigs where you're paid and you're working directly for the festival organizers.
I imagine the easiest shots compared to other industries would be audience reaction shots, because it's just a guaranteed, like, people are there to vibe, to be high energy. You just have to listen probably to like the loudest screamer and just point the camera at them, and there's your shot.
The louder and the crazier, the better. I love running up and down in the press pit area and everyone's arms up. It's definitely the best place to be, or even getting out and moshing about with the crowd is always fun. So it's kind of actually boring being up on side of stage. I like being down at the action.
I can see that.
Yeah.
Do you ever troll people by like pretending you're taking a picture so they like freeze, but you're just filming them the whole time? So then they just have like an awkward...
That happens so often. Or when people come up and they're like, "Oh, photo,"
and you're like,
and I'm like, no, video, and they're like. So I thought it would be a funny idea. I've still got to put the video together, but I'm just going to cut up a montage of just groups of people coming up and they're like, "Photo," and like, oh, video. They just see a camera and they think you're a photographer, but yeah.
Yep. Yep. Please make that montage. That'd be awesome. Gee, what's an important lesson that you've kind of learned in the first year of your freelance career?
Oh, that's another. You're just hitting me with all the good questions.
We've done 30-something episodes. We've learned to ask the questions. Yeah.
You've got it. Yeah, you're fine-tuned it now. You're. I would say just that work-life balance. It's probably my biggest lesson. You're no good to anybody if you burn out. So just realizing when you are coming close to that point and sort of just taking that time out. And sometimes you can get so bogged down in the daily grind where you're sort of shooting, editing, rinse, repeat, shoot, edit, rinse, repeat, that you don't actually make time to learn new things. And I like spending a lot of time when I can listening to podcasts such as this one, but even like watching things on YouTube or signing up for online courses and things like that where I'm learning new things and developing my skills. But sometimes you just get so bogged down in the rinse and repeat that you start hating it if you don't just take that time out to sort of learn something new, or just take your camera out, just go and shoot something, go to a different location, go out with some friends and shoot something, just something that takes you away from, I think, just making it feel like work where you start to resent it after a while. So it's just,
I think that can be a danger of, or something that I feel is a danger of, like, you know how everybody says to like find your niche, and like the tighter the niche, the better it is. But if you like narrow down your niche so much that you're doing the exact same thing over and over, I feel like it's easier to burn out if you're stuck doing that one thing. Whereas if you bounce around to a few different things, you're learning more, you're keeping it fresh and interesting. So that's kind of my pushback against people who say, oh, you need to like niche down super specifically.
That's so true. I think it's true to a point, but I mean, I love the opportunity just to come out and spend the day as your second shooter, Nate. Like, it's just, I'm working with equipment that I don't normally work with. I'm working with people I don't normally work with. And it just takes me away from what I'm doing, and just seeing how other people work and operate. And yeah, sometimes, yeah, even taking the opportunity to shoot something different that you wouldn't normally, like even doing live stream stuff. I had a heap of fun. I was Nate's second shoot at the UBC Med Gala, and just all the complications that come along with doing a live stream, and just, yeah, learning something new, and it was a heap of fun. I'm sure Nate will say something different, but I had fun. It was cool.
It was fun. I think my favorite part was when they gave us those ClearCom headsets.
Oh,
So you had the wireless one and I had the wired one, and
game
I could
changer.
like whisper so softly and you could like hear me so clearly. And Dorin, it reminded me of when we were at that nonprofit and we would like use the ClearCom mics to like whisper to each other and try to make each other laugh.
Oh, we were making sounds in those things. Nate loved to just turn on the clear comm and just rub it on his beard.
Oh yeah.
I'm
So that,
glad you didn't do that to me. I probably would have just lost it. Doesn't take much to make me laugh.
If it was a bit more of a low pressure thing, he would have.
yeah, I think so.
Um, here's, yeah, I'll ask it. What, since you've started going freelance, like full-time freelance for yourself, has anything surprised you, like something that you didn't expect to have? So you kind of answered like what's an important lesson that you learned, but is there anything that surprised you? Like, I didn't think it would be this much. Like, I thought I would have more free time, not work more if I'm my own boss, for example. Did you have any sort of like kind of mixed feelings about going full time freelance?
Um, I think you get out what you put in. So I like the fact that the harder you work, you reap the rewards yourself. Like, whereas I've always sort of worked for other people and big companies, and you're working for somebody else and their dream, and
Hmm.
making the company more money.
Mm,
Sure, you might climb further up the career ladder, whatnot, but it's really rewarding when all the work I'm putting into, like, even things like my social media, my marketing, my online stuff, my videos, everything. It's for me. Yeah, I think.
So it's like a greater sense of accomplishment that you didn't think would be so overwhelming, eh?
Yeah. I mean, you've summed it
Awesome.
up so much better than me.
Well, yeah, I'm listening.
Yeah,
And I can identify, I can relate. I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot that. Yeah, that is that feeling. Because
yeah.
I've been doing full time freelance. I think this is my fifth year, and yeah, I
Mm.
kind of forgot that from the beginning. So it's nice to have that thought refreshed in my mind. You know.
Yeah, I think as well, it's nice to network with other people who do the same as you as well, because they understand you. Like,
Hmm.
I've had some great chats with Nate, um, because you have the same struggles.
mm.
You know. I mean, just having fun chats about cameras is always good, but
Yeah, being able
it's
to nerd out with someone else.
yeah, it's always
Yeah.
fun because it can be quite isolating at times, especially when you're doing those long, grueling edits. Um, yeah,
Do
it's
you use Premiere Pro?
yes, I do.
All
Yes,
right. Yeah. So we all feel that pain.
yeah. It crashes on you when you go to render. It's just
Well,
um,
are you PC or Mac?
PC.
Okay. Well, our previous workplace had Mac for how many years? 4 years.
Yeah.
And Adobe crashes just as much on Mac.
Oh,
Yeah,
So
people who were saying that, Mac is more stable than PC for Premiere, we were like, No, we found tons of bugs in both.
Oh wow.
The red,
Yeah.
there's like a red frame flashing error where you'd have to watch the entire export all the way through to make sure there was no like red frames that would pop up. And it was just the worst. Like it wouldn't give you any export errors or like warnings. Oh my gosh. So now I always stay like a year behind in Premiere releases. Like when
Yeah.
2022 came out, I
I
made the
haven't
mistake of
updated in, I don't even know how long. Probably
You've
3
been
years.
burnt.
I've been burnt too many
Too many
times.
times, yeah.
So now if I find a version I like, I try and stick with that one as long as I can until there's like maybe 2023 comes out, then I'll upgrade to 2022, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not a bad call.
So G, you know, why don't we take a look at one of your best pieces? Would I be correct in saying that this is the project that you've put the most time into? Is this Keep Pushing video?
I actually put it together in about 3 weeks. I'd say it's probably one of the things that I'm most proud of. I haven't actually put out much of my work at all from film school. I just, you know how you can be your own worst enemy? Everyone else will tell you your work's great, but you're like, no, it's not going up. It's never going to see the light of day.
Yeah.
So this was the first piece that I was genuinely happy with and proud of. And it kind of, it made me discover this love I didn't know I had for documentary filmmaking. So it could even be an avenue I explore more in the future. But yeah, a lot of fun making this one.
Okay, awesome. And Dorin, just to confirm, you haven't seen it, right?
I'm sorry, I haven't had time to. I usually do my research on guests, but I haven't had time this time.
Hey, you've
Oh,
been
that's
busy. I've heard how busy you've been.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, then let me share the screen and we'll all watch it together. And then, Dorin, this will be like kind of your first impressions.
Mhm.
And I've watched it once. I think it was a
my
couple
first
months
impression
ago.
is already having a lovely chat with G, so I'm already impressed. Yeah.
You're already biased towards it. Uh-oh.
Oh, yeah.
All right, here we go. 100.5 FM, Urban Renewal Project. I'm DJ Denise. We've got another amazing interview for you this week. I am DJ Denise. I have been DJing in the city for just about, I want to say 20 years. I'm thinking about my oldest child, who is 23 years old. When you lock eyes with somebody really grooving to a track, then you like mix in another one and they're just like, yes, like that was crazy. When you can see the room like start moving, everybody's bouncing with the same rhythm or they're, you know, swaying the same way. That's the best part about DJing. My earliest memory of turntables and records was probably at home with my parents. My dad had an extensive record collection. The family would be preparing dinner and he would tell me, the eldest, to go grab the record and play a certain song on the record. There wasn't any early scratching back in those days. It was pure just playing music.
I go back with DJ Denise in between 15 and 20 years. I met her first when I was DJing at a local pub in my neighborhood, and I saw Denise and she came up to me and said, she told me she was a DJ also, and I was like, wow, female DJ, amazing, hip hop.
Entering the scene when I started was a different time. There weren't as many women, or even women of color. I'd come into the scene, I'd be pretty much the only woman around when things were going on. Challenges that I had starting out were barriers with, like, say, money and like equipment. I didn't get as many gigs back in those days. So it was really me having to go to work, get those hard hours to like collect all the equipment. I actually moved out at a really young age. I was 17 when I moved out, so paying rent was actually my focus. So there was no like easiness, sitting back and chilling. I actually had to like hustle to keep a roof over my head and make sure that I was fed. FWH was the spot to be. They sold records, clothing. The owner would have some DJs come in and spin like on Fridays and Saturdays and stuff like that too. So shout out to Flip Out and J Swing and Kilo C. They'd always be up in there. I had a little job at Kentucky Fried Chicken, and I'd come in there with my paycheck, just slam it down and grab as many records as I could get.
DJs do make a lot of sacrifices, you know, with money. You know, the whole thing, am I gonna buy a record or am I gonna buy lunch? That was a big thing back in the day, and I literally would take my whole paycheck from working at Wendy's and buy like 5 records. Make sure you pick the right ones.
Urban music, hip hop from Vancouver. We're back in the studio. It's hot like fire. DJ Denise, 35 on Instagram. I can say that there have been times that I've wanted to quit. I was diagnosed with cancer in 2018. They found some cysts in my colon. And so I actually had to leave the show for a little bit. I didn't really tell anybody what happened. I stopped DJing. I had to go in for surgery. It's so strange. Like, you just think about when you're asking the doctor, why me? And they have no answers for you. It's, oh man, it's heartbreaking, but I'm happy to be here. I'm in remission, and you know, just having to think about that scare and just hoping that my body holds out, because like I don't want to leave this earth yet. I have so much more to do. Channel 9, here we go. Ready. I also, over these years, have been acquiring sound equipment. It's packed in my apartment. I can't wait till we can move into some bigger space, because we're tripping over speakers and wires and you name it, I've got it. Microphones, it's wild. Check. There we go. Check. Okay, so aux, I need to... The business is really growing. My children are learning everything that I teach them on the job, which is wonderful. So God, please don't take me, but if I do go, they can take over the business. Can it be because the mics are like low, the batteries are dying? I eat, sleep, and you know, eat music, basically. Yeah. Just, no, there's no power button.
DJ Denise is the epitome of hard work. She comes off as somebody that does stuff for the love of doing it and giving back to the culture, and doesn't think about the money or the fame or any of the materialistic things that come along with the industry. She's all about the love.
Let's get our mics together, let's get our cameras on.
If you're gonna stick around as a DJ, you're gonna have to like it, because it's gonna be pretty wearing on you, you know. But you keep at it because you love it and you're contributing. You know, Denise has a radio show going on for almost a decade, which is amazing. You know, people ask me like, why do you keep doing it? It's like, I just keep doing it. I like it. I've been here and I'm doing it, and I haven't necessarily tried to be kind of in the scene this long. It just happens to be what I've done, you know. And same with Denise. I mean, she's just there. She's there doing it, and she's a staple. Big up, Denise! Boo!
My message to any people that want to pursue art the way that I have, don't quit. It's easy to quit, but it's harder to continue. Just keep pushing. That would be my message.
Gee, that was a great video. Thank you for sharing that with us.
Well
Thank
done.
you. Thank you.
Oh, I have so many
It was-
questions.
Yeah, ask away.
Oh man. All right. That was all filmed with your A7C?
Yes, yeah. I think there was a few
Okay.
shots in there on my GH5.
Okay.
Yeah.
I am going to guess that it was at least 3 days of filming. Is that correct?
Yeah, about 3 or 4 days.
Okay.
We filmed at the radio station where she does her hip hop show at Co-op Radio. Then she just so happened, it just worked out so well where it was that week she was celebrating her 9th year anniversary on air, and I said, I've got to get there. So there was me and my camera there. And then I said, I need some more footage. Are you doing any more live shows? And then she said, I just so happened to have one on this weekend. And it was that week leading up to Christmas. And I think I went out and shot it on the Saturday, and then the Sunday, everything went down into lockdown again. So I just got that footage right before, everything was locked up again. So, cool. Yeah.
I was noticing a lot of cool B-roll shots with a lot of interesting lighting. Did you bring any supplementary lighting, or is it just the venue? Like, these guys always have like lights everywhere, and it just makes it nice and cinematic to film.
The venue itself, it's a venue called little pop-up sort of place called Motten in East Van, and they have a lot of neon lights in there, a lot of graffiti on the wall, and a couple of sort of coloured LEDs. And then on my lens that I was shooting with a Tiffin Pro Mist filter on the end that just makes the lights bloom and makes things look a lot more cinematic. I'm really liking using that one. Yeah.
And when you individually recorded people, we could hear them really crystal clear. What mic did you use to record that?
That was the on camera, the Rode Video NTG.
The NTG?
Yeah.
Okay. And you just timed that with when no one else was there making noise? Because it sounded like those places were packed busy.
Yeah. The guy Flip Out, I arranged with him to go into, he does the mixes up the music on Virgin Radio on the Drive show. So I actually do promotions there. So I was able to reach out to him and go in and chat with him. And then the other guy, DJ 151, he happened to be at the event that Denise was at, and I just seized the opportunity, which you kind of have to do in documentaries. A lot of it's unplanned. You just have to seize the opportunity, film it, and just sort of, even if you don't use the content, you've got it. And I mean, he just happened to be great on camera and said the right things, whereas not everyone's great talent. So it's I mean, it can feel quite invasive as well, filming documentaries, because you're constantly trailing someone with a camera, and you're like this fly that just sort of won't
Buzz off.
won't buzz off. So it was a completely it was a really cool experience, and I really enjoyed the documentary filmmaking process, probably a lot more than narrative film. You don't have to worry about scripts. You don't have to worry about continuity or anything like that. So it feels a lot more real. And
well, that was actually my next question, because some documentaries do have an objective in mind. Like even this client, when they reached out to you, had a rough idea of what they wanted, but I guess they gave you creative freedom to ask the questions that you did, right? And just explore the person and the work that they do, right?
I mean, this person, DJ Denise, she just really interests me, because she's just a sort of charismatic, bubbly, outgoing person, and super optimistic, and you feed off her energy when you're around her. And I like that it tied into music as well. And I don't know. I love being around positive people. It's I
Hmm.
feed off that energy myself. So it's yeah.
Was
It's,
someone else helping you film, or was it just you solo?
I had a second shooter, a guy in my class, who helped out with the radio station shots. He was there with a gimbal while I was doing the interviewing.
Ah,
Yeah.
Mm.
right.
Otherwise,
So when we see like a behind the scene sort of like creeping around objects, but she's looking dead on at the interviewer. You're the interviewer
I'm
on
the
the main
interviewer.
cam.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I see.
I liked how when Denise was like beat matching, that the background music lined up with her taps. That was something that was like, oh, G did that on purpose. She's like, she's DJ herself. So,
Yeah.
did you like pay close attention to the background music syncing up with some stuff in the visuals?
Sometimes those things are happy accidents, and then other times in the edit, it's me lining things up and making sure they work, which is a lot of the transitions and things I do. Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah, I noticed that with you paid attention to context. So when she said that her living room's like full of equipment and they're tripping over it, you immediately cut to like her checking equipment at the station. I thought that was like perfect continuity there. That was like
Oh,
perfect
thank you.
timing. Yeah. So I'm like, yeah,
Yeah,
this is great storytelling right there.
thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. And
So, 2 thumbs up. We give it,
yeah.
Dorin. Yeah,
Yeah, I
that's fun.
definitely found that interesting. I don't think I've ever seen any piece on a DJ before, but I thought that was super interesting. And it was super like the establishing first shot, introducing her was super quick and to the point, and then we just jumped into her world, and that just kind of hooked me in. I was like, okay, yeah, this is her. She's a DJ. This is what she does. Bam, and then everything else was just complementary to that. I thought that was really well told again. That it kept me very interested.
Thank you. Yeah, I it's something I've learned from school anyway. Was just the show don't tell. Um,
Mm.
yeah, show don't tell. So it's so much more impactful, seeing her do her radio show instead of her saying, "Oh yeah, I host a weekly radio show from 10 till blah blah on this radio station." Just showing that I found, um, yeah, it's a lot more impactful, and yeah.
That's awesome.
Cool. G, I'm gonna hit you with another deep question. What right
Bring it.
now? What currently is your greatest challenge, and then how do you plan to overcome it?
Oh,
Nate
oh. Uh,
cutting in deep.
at least we've worked our way up to this point. I would say I'm probably my own worst enemy sometimes, and just having the confidence in my ability and backing myself. Um, Sometimes you can get caught up in the trap of following all the other influencers and content creators on social media. It's social media, and just getting sucked into that trap where you're like, oh, my stuff's not as good as theirs. Well, I can't make videos like Peter McKinnon. Oh, like look at that, like Maddie Hippoyer and all those guys that I follow on social media, and you kind of you just have to stop, and I just have to remind myself that hey, I'm a lot better than what I was last year. I'm a lot better than what I was last month, and you've kind of got to turn around and see how far you've come, and don't worry about other people.
Mm-hmm.
Just keep your eyes on what you're doing, and as long as you're better than what you were yesterday, then that's awesome. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and I've just got to keep reminding myself of that, and not get caught up in what everyone else is doing on social media. That's the biggest thing I'm learning, and I'm slowly working on, and yeah.
What
Gotcha. So,
was what was your
go ahead.
client's reaction to the mini documentary, to the
Uh,
final product?
Yeah, she was over the moon with it, and it actually a lot of people in her network shared it as well, and even people from over east were sharing it. So it even got shared on like a local hip hop blog and a few other online sites and stuff. So it's yeah, no, it was super flattering just having other people moved by something that I created, and
Mhm.
yeah.
Have you ever, just going back to what you kind of said, that you're kind of your greatest, like, um,
Critic.
yeah, sort of, or like you're the greatest challenge to overcome. Do you feel like you've had opportunities that you were kind of hesitating on? Does that happen to anybody else, or is it just me?
Okay, give me an example. What's an example
Oh,
of
well, like, let's say
something?
an opportunity does come up, but that it requires a bit more than what you're used to. Like, for example, let's say you said like you're tapping into the live stream world now. Like, when that first live stream opportunity came up and you're like, hey, you want to take on this responsibility, were you amped up and hyped up and you're like, yeah, I can do this? Or were you like, oh man, I haven't done this before, and you started doubting?
Uh, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't a little bit nervous
Hmm.
before every event that I do. I think it's
Yeah, I
that's
still struggle with that.
yeah,
Like,
just every
if somebody asks, like, I'm super comfortable doing a 4 camera multicam stream. If someone asks me for a fifth camera, it's like it's just another camera. My mixer can take 8. But just the mental fact of like, oh, this is an extra camera than before. Like, sometimes I let that get to me and just anxiety, man. For
yeah.
no reason. So I kind of understand that. So I just wanted to see like if you're kind of hinting at that too.
I think the most nervous I've ever been was every time I shoot a new at a new venue or a new event. I'm always nervous because I've never been there before. I've you're just hoping like hell your SD cards don't fail you, and you've got all your equipment. A lot of the festivals I cover are 4, 5, 8 hours drive from Vancouver, so you just hope that, and they're out in the middle of nowhere as well. So you just hope that you've got all your gear with you, and yeah, because you can't just jump into London Drugs and grab some grab another SD card if you've forgotten it.
Yeah.
So it's always a challenge. Yeah, even
Is
you go.
is being around people that are like moving, dancing, and swinging arms, is it, do you have a bit of like, I imagine if I would be put in that scenario, I'd be very worried of like someone accidentally knocking down my camera or like hitting it, or does that happen? Or am I not fully understanding kind of what's going on at a party, at an
Uh,
event?
no, I'm always mindful of my gear. I've I put those I often wear those wrist straps around my camera, so if it was to drop out of my hand, it would the worst it would do is just dangle below my wrist or
Oh, okay.
yeah. I actually find the stabilization on my camera quite good. I don't take my gimbal out that often, so it's just less stuff, less equipment, especially if you're maneuvering. You need to get from side of the stage to the back of the crowd in a quick snap. You can, and you don't have gimbals and stabilizers and on camera this and on camera that. You can
Mm.
just quickly maneuver. So I've just got a mounting cage and a handle out the side, on camera mic, and then that's strapped to my wrist, and I can easily just put my hand above my head, maneuver through the crowd, and then I'm there to get the
Uh,
shot. So through trial and error, and at the start, I just took way too much gear to events, and you don't use half of it. It's I hate having to stash my gear because it's my worst fear having my gear stolen. So I like to just keep
mm.
my gear on my back, and I can maneuver in and out of the crowd and get from one side of the stage to the other without being noticed as well. And yeah, I only pack what I absolutely need, and that's through trial and error. You're often at events for a number of hours, and having a heavy backpack on all day, you start having a sore back. I don't know if you guys have sore backs from lugging around video gear all day, but it's yeah, no good. So I just pack the bare essentials now, because half the time you pack it and you don't even use it. So yeah.
As long as it's not like for a new situation for you. Like, I like to try and pack more than I think I'll need if I'm going on a shoot and I'm not sure what's going to happen.
Yeah.
You know, and then if you need something that you weren't expecting, you have it at least. But if it's like a weekly thing, like you're going to the same club or the same event, you know exactly what you need, then that's the perfect time to kind of scale back and just take the bare essentials, I think.
That's true. Yeah. I mean,
You know?
yeah, it's probably more so the weekly gigs where I'm going to the same place and I'm doing the same or similar job, that I'm just taking the bare essentials. When I do the festivals, there's definitely a little bit more in my backpack, because it's just that saying, it's like better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it. Yeah. And you often have to take more batteries and battery packs and lenses and drones and other things. So it's
Oh, yeah. All my 5 drones, I'm like,
yeah, your 5
oh,
drones.
too many of them. No. Too funny. Actually, G, that reminds me, I think you went over that in one of your podcast episodes, because you have a podcast you're working on, right?
Yes.
Are we allowed to talk about that, or is
Yeah,
it
that's
still
fine.
secret?
It's I think I'm about 7 episodes in now, so it's just something I started this year, just to get a little bit more comfortable speaking. And I couldn't actually find much out there in the way of live music video specific content. There's a lot of live music photography stuff, but not much in the video realm. So I thought, I'm going to create something, and if I can, if I can help somebody out there with it, then it's all been worthwhile. So yeah, a bit of fun.
Yeah, that's very cool. Welcome to the podcaster alliance.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the reason I
Thank
brought that
you.
up was one of your episodes was talking about all the essential gear and the first things that you should buy to do shoots like this. So I think that's really cool that you're kind of putting your ideas to voice, I guess, not to paper, but to voice, and you kind of have a nice resource. And I feel like going through that process of sorting through your thoughts to be able to convey them in a podcast, it kind of forces you to learn that thing yourself. You know, like they say, like, if you can't teach something to a 5-year-old, you really don't understand it well enough yourself.
That's so true. So true. Yeah, it's definitely helped just conveying my ideas. Absolutely. Just getting to the point on things. And I don't know, there's so much going on in my mind sometimes. So it is nice just to sort of dot point and list things out. And I don't know, I feel like podcasts are just popping off at the moment. Everyone's got a podcast, and yeah, it's a bit of fun, something new to learn as well. And I've always kind of wanted to create a YouTube channel, but I don't like myself in front of a camera that much. So I thought maybe a podcast is an easy way to kind of, I don't know, ease into that and get a taste for it without being on camera.
Yeah, you're so used to being behind the camera.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah. It
Feels
weird
unnatural.
having my camera looking at me now. I'm like, this is what everyone looks at when I'm filming them, but to be on the other side of that is weird.
Well, you're probably more looking like this. You're just gonna be like, you're not gonna be like, as long as you're not looking too creepy. Like,
Yeah. No one likes a creepy cameraman or woman.
yeah. Gee, what's kind of your 5 or 10 year plan, if you've got any? Like, do you plan to stay here in Vancouver? Obviously, you said you want to kind of do live music videography for the foreseeable future, but is there any big like milestones or kind of big idea plans that you've got?
Oh, definitely something videography related, but I've always sort of had a grand plan to set up my own production company. And yeah, I'd love to have my own sort of office space somewhere, some cool studio, and maybe have be working alongside a couple of other people, and yeah, just creating kick-ass Can I say that? Kick-ass content for yeah,
Missed the bleep button, sorry.
for yeah, like commercial brands and events and music. And I'd love to explore maybe music videos, but yeah, just to grow and 10x what I'm doing now, and to be doing it as part of a team as well would be amazing. Yeah.
That sounds awesome. Very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, we definitely need to do a follow-up episode as soon as you get there. So
The Nate and Dorin podcast episode 560, chatting with G.
She started G Wiz Studios here in Vancouver.
hey, there's a name for you.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, how can others find you and be involved with your work? Social media platforms. What's the best way they can see your work and reach out to you?
My IG is G Maree Video, or you can check out the podcast if you want, live music videography. And
You got a website?
yeah, gmaree.com.
How do you spell that?
GEE, so
Okay.
GEE, and then Maree, MAREE.
Okay.
I have to spell it. Sometimes people spell Maree the other way with an IE, so
Mm-hmm.
I'll admit, like,
GEE, Maree
yeah.
EE.
I like accidentally emailed you with like MARIE, and then I got like a return to sender like email notification failure. I'm like, oh no, is this hacked? But then I realized I just spelt it wrong.
Yeah. I suppose you probably never had that because you can't spell Nate any other way.
No, innate is pretty simple, but like my last name Dixon, like people, like, you know, back when I got in the newspaper, I know I was super famous. And
What?
like when I got in the newspaper,
Discussion.
oh yeah, I've got like a big newspaper clipping in like my scrapbook or keepsakes where I was like playing the trombone, and I had sunglasses on and I was looking all cool. It's like part of a jazz festival, but like, yeah, there's been times where I was in the newspaper and they spelt it like Dixon. I guess kind of like the pencil brand,
Oh, wow, cool.
instead of Dickson. But yeah, my last name's more easily misspelt than Nate.
Yeah.
And Dorin, I'm sure you've gotten a few funny Starbucks labels when they call out your name.
They intentionally do it. Yeah.
I mean, there's a girl's named Dorin, so I've
You
gotten
look
called
like a Dorin.
I've gotten called that. I'm like, no. In my native language, you would say Dorin, but you wouldn't put an accent on the E. Dorin.
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 Yeah.
Dorin, when I first Googled your name, a Star Wars entry came up, and apparently Dorin was a dark and dusty planet in the expansion region.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, dark and dusty planet, Dorin. Yep, sounds about right. So you're like more of a Star Wars tie-in than either of us, I think. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and probably from all of us, I'm the only one that doesn't really care about Star Wars.
Gee, what do you think about Star Wars? Are you a fan or are you not?
Me?
Yeah. Do you
Me,
like Star Wars or no?
That's the one with Chewbacca, right? I think I've seen one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. See, that's about my level.
Yeah, like one of them has Chewbacca. I don't know if it's Star Wars or Star Trek, but yeah.
There you go. Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, Nate's a big Star Wars guy, so
Oh no.
Yeah, if I zoomed out, you'd see like Star Wars posters up
Yeah.
above there.
oh, thank you for not having that in your backdrop.
Oh, oof.
I'm still waiting for this wall of CDs, Nate.
Oh
What?
yeah, gee, I also have a bunch of CDs, and at my old place, I had them like on the sidewall right when we first started our podcast. I
Oh,
would just
like
like
flipped over
stack all the
shiny
CDs.
side? Yeah.
No, not the shiny side, the side with the artwork. So I've
Oh.
like kept all the CDs with like cool artwork. And so I had them all like the artwork side out. So yeah, I've been saving those, and I got to use them, but then we had to move, so it
Oh no.
doesn't really work in this setup. The walls are like a little too far away to have it next to them. I mean,
More
I guess I could
CDs,
put them
Nate.
on that wall behind there.
Just hoping CDs will make a comeback like vinyl or something. You know? CDs will be cool again. I don't actually have anything that I can play a CD on.
You know what?
Like
Neither do
my
I.
laptop doesn't even take CDs anymore. So
Oh, yeah, my old
Ah.
laptop still does take CDs, so
Ah.
A
I'm set.
DVD player would play a CD, I think.
Yeah. And like the old game consoles like PS3,
Yeah.
Xbox, those will play CDs too.
what was your first CD that you bought? Both of you. My question to you.
Don't
I-
you remember?
Did I bought?
Yeah. Bought with your own money. You went into the music shop and you
By
bought
the
your
time I
first
started
CD.
making money, I don't think I was buying CDs. I think the first time I was handed a CD was from my parents when they went to Italy and they got a bunch of. It was interesting. It was like a CD with a bunch of game demos only. It didn't have an entire game on it, but it had like 100 game demos, like the first 10 minutes of a game. You know, like a demo of a game.
Mm.
So that was really cool. I got to play a lot of games that I still play to this day, actually, because they were like classic hits in 1990s. You know, like Age of Empires and Civ 2 and stuff like that. And the first CD with artwork was a Tomb Raider CD,
Nice, cool.
but it was two problems with it. One, it was in Italian, so I couldn't understand anything on the label. And then eventually I found out what a PlayStation is, and I'm like, yeah, we don't have PlayStation in Europe. I don't know why Italy has a PlayStation CD for sale, but we had
So your
a
parents bought you a PlayStation CD
with
and
Tomb
you were like,
Raider that's in
I
Italian.
don't have this console.
I didn't even know what that was. I don't. Yeah, so that was my first experience with a labeled CD. Yeah.
Nice.
For me, the first CD I went and bought was by a band called Demon Hunter, and the album was called The Triptych. And I think
What kind of music is that?
Sounds like an anime.
Yeah.
it's like Christian metalcore. So
Wow.
lots of like screaming and growling and
Sounds like an oxymoron to me.
yeah. So I've been a fan of metalcore and Christian metalcore ever since then. So that was the first CD I got, and I was kind of like, "Is this music?" When I first got it, I was like, "This sounds like I can't understand what all the screaming means and what they're
Is that
saying."
when they
But
just scream into the mic?
there's
Like that?
there's
Isn't
like
that death metal?
screaming,
Okay.
growling. There's like different metal subgenres, but like
Growling.
oh yeah, like more like low guttural type singing, not just
Oh.
like the high pitch. So there's like quite a range in like the metalcore and screamo. Screamo is more like kind of emo, and then metalcore is a little more, I guess, instrumental based and like polyrhythmic guitars with like a rhythm guitar or lead guitar. We should make a music podcast to talk about this kind of
Oh,
stuff.
absolutely. It deserves its own podcast.
Yeah.
There probably
But
is
anyways,
one somewhere.
I think I still have the CD in my pile of CDs that I want to use one day for some sort of art installation or wall decoration. Yeah.
Wow.
So
I can't wait to see you trying to explain what a CD is to your kids.
oh yeah, every screen they already like think every screen is a touch screen. You know, they're like trying to
Yeah,
swipe. I'm like, no,
same.
that's not a touch screen.
It's the oven. Why can't I-
Gee, my kids aren't stupid. Oh, is the oven and the microwave?
Well, is your oldest 5 yet?
No, not yet. Should be 5 in June.
Okay, there
So
you go.
she's getting
So
there.
if you can't explain it to a 5-year-old, Nate.
Yeah. Then she'll be like, explain like I'm 5. I'll be like, as you are. All right. Easy.
All
Good
right.
chats. Good
Yeah.
chats.
Yeah, I think that's a great amount of topics we covered today. Sounds like we all have busy weekends ahead of us. So I think that's a wrap for today. G, thank you very much for coming on the podcast today and sharing your experience with us.
Yeah, thank you both. It's honestly been so much fun.
And thank you, watcher/listener, for watching/listening.
Yes. And be sure to subscribe to not miss an episode of the Nate and Dorin podcast. You can find us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or whatever you use to listen to podcasts. Also, check out G's live music videography podcast if you're interested in that. This has been Nate and Dorin, joined by G. Thank you for watching and listening.